The biggest issue with LinkedIn advice from the internet is that most of it is subjective. What works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. The second biggest issue is bullshit posts like this. And that's why Sarah Johnson's recent study of 4,879 studies is so valuable. Data, to a large extent, takes the guesswork out of what makes a strong LinkedIn profile. As usual, I care about your time, so I'm going to first share the 5 key takeaways from her report. Then I'll walk you through the actionable steps you can take today to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Let's get started. Here are the 5 key takeaways from Sarah's study. To rank higher in search results, relevant keywords should appear 9 to 10 times throughout our LinkedIn profile. 46% of respondents see the headline as the most important section, yet only 20% of LinkedIn users update it. 84% of people read at least the first sentence of a LinkedIn About section, of which 32% always end up reading the whole thing. 65% of users, many of whom are recruiters and hiring managers, reached out to someone they didn't know because of something they read on their LinkedIn profile. And finally, 45% of recruiters actively reference the skills section, and individuals with 5 or more skills receive 17 times more views. Thumbs up and subscribe if you agree all YouTube videos should share the key learnings up front. Now we know the key takeaways, here are 5 things you can do to maximize our chances of landing a job using LinkedIn. Starting with tip number 1, master the art of keywords. In a nutshell, when recruiters and hiring managers look for candidates on LinkedIn, they search for phrases like product manager healthcare, where product manager and healthcare are what's known as keywords. And the people who show up at the top of the search results mention those keywords frequently in their profile. This begs 2 questions. Number 1, how do we find relevant keywords for the roles we're interested in? And number 2, where do we place them in our profile? To find relevant keywords, first bookmark 5 job openings you're interested in and copy and paste all 5 job descriptions within an empty Google Docs. Then head on over to ChatGPT or Google Gemini and input this prompt. I am a job seeker applying to marketing manager positions. Your task is to analyze the 5 job descriptions I will paste below and identify the top 10 keywords that appear by frequency. Clearly show the number of times that keyword appears in the 5 job descriptions, i.e. show a numerical value next to the keyword. Here are the 5 job descriptions, and you paste the 5 JDs. You'll end up with something like this, and I promise you'll find keywords you haven't thought of yourself. For example, I work full-time as a product marketing manager, and unless my colleagues are watching this video, in which case I'm joking, these are 5 real job openings I would actually apply to, and I didn't think to include measurement and channel as keywords. Now that we have the keywords, pick and choose the 3 most relevant ones, since we'll be coming back to these throughout the video. Sarah recommends including the keywords once in our LinkedIn headline, 2 to 3 times in the About section, 3 to 5 times in our Experience section, and 1 time in our Skills section, for a total of 9 to 10 times in our profile. Note that this applies to each keyword, so for the 3 most relevant keywords we identified, they should appear a total of 27 to 30 times throughout our LinkedIn profile. Moving on to tip number 2, writing keyword-driven headlines. According to LinkedIn itself, your headline is a major factor in their search algorithm. According to Sarah's study, 46% of respondents see the headline as the most important section, and yet only 20% of LinkedIn users update it. Before going through examples of what we should do, here are 3 mistakes we want to avoid at all costs. First, don't use abbreviations unless it's widespread in your industry. Second, don't use your current job title since you want to stand out from the 99% of other users who just use their current job title. Third, don't use seeking opportunities or open to work because recruiters are not actively searching for those keywords. Instead, we want to adopt the 2-part headline formula from Austin Belsack, another well-known career coach with decades of experience. The formula consists of part 1, a keyword-filled overview, and part 2, value illustration with results. In this example, the 3 relevant keywords are highlighted in blue, and the last sentence includes quantifiable metrics that gives you instant credibility and helps you stand out from the crowd. Here's another example using the keywords we found earlier on in this video. Product marketing, divider, digital advertising, divider, helping small businesses 2x their return on ad spend. If you're having trouble coming up with numbers to include in the second sentence, I've actually made an entire video on how to identify relevant metrics for any role, so check that out after. LinkedIn profile tip number 3, steal with pride. If I were you right now, I'd say everything sounds great. In theory. But does Sarah or Austin have proof any of this works in real life for my own situation? To answer this question, head on over to your LinkedIn homepage, click into the search bar up top, and hit enter to perform an empty search. Then click posts, all filters, and under author company, input the companies you want to apply to and click show results. You now have a list of active LinkedIn users who put real effort into optimizing their profiles, and they all work for companies you are interested in. Go through and pick 5 profiles you resonate with, and I'm willing to bet many of them use the 2-part headline formula. You can now reference these real and relevant examples when writing your headline. Pro tip for job seekers: pick the profile you want to emulate the most, copy the URL, create a free account on Teal, the only job search company I've agreed to a sponsorship with, and you can import that LinkedIn profile to create a resume from scratch. Obviously, you still need to tailor this with your own experiences, but number 1, you just saved a bunch of time, and number 2, you didn't have to reinvent the wheel because you know you're building on top of a strong profile. I've talked about Teal many times already. I love their product. Their free Chrome extension integrates perfectly with LinkedIn. You can save a job with just 1 click, and their job tracker tool neatly organizes all your applications based on where you are in the process. They also have customized checklists for each step, and it's just the most user-friendly tool I've come across for job seekers. Teal is completely free to use. Check them out using the link down below. Oh, and don't forget to send a thank you message to the person whose profile you reference. It's a really good excuse to connect with someone working at your target company. Diving to tip number 4, writing an effective about section. As a quick reminder, Sarah found that 84% of people read the first sentence of a LinkedIn about section, of which 32% read the entire thing. And 65% of users, many of whom are recruiters and hiring managers, have contacted someone they didn't know based on their profile. Here, we can use Austin's about section template designed specifically for job seekers. It's broken down into 4 sections: a strong intro paragraph with keywords and measurable metrics, 3 examples that showcase your strongest achievements, a very sneakily worded sentence that signals you're open to new opportunities without tipping off your current employer. This is my favorite part of the template, by the way. You literally write, I get excited about opportunities where I get to do X. It's very sneaky, but also very smart. And of course, your contact information at the end. I have an entire video going over specific examples using this template, so I'm not gonna waste your time here, but here are a few pro tips to keep in mind. First, although there's no perfect length, most about sections are between 880 and 1,120 characters long. Second, your LinkedIn profile is a high-level overview of who you are professionally, so your about section can be a bit more general, whereas your resume should be hyper-targeted for each role you apply to. Finally, Sarah's study shows that 80% of respondents prefer profiles written in the first person. So instead of Jeff is charming, hardworking, and smart, we'd have I am charming, hardworking, and smart. LinkedIn profile tactic number 5, get your skills endorsed on LinkedIn. I was initially skeptical to see that 45% of recruiters care about the skills section until I dug deeper and found that the LinkedIn recruiter tool used by most recruiters have a specific filter for skills. And LinkedIn itself says individuals with 5 or more skills receive 17 times more views on average. Here, we again rely on ChatGPT to do the heavy lifting for us, and as a reward for those of you who stayed until now, I've included all the prompts from this video in a link down below. I'm a job seeker applying for marketing manager roles. I will share 5 job openings I'm interested in below, and your task is to identify the top 10 most relevant skills I should include in my LinkedIn profile. Sort the skills by most relevant to least relevant. Here are the 5 job descriptions, and you copy paste from the Google Doc we created earlier. Pro tip, LinkedIn's search algorithm will only factor in a skill if it has at least 1 endorsement. So here's a list of people you can ask for endorsements. Feel free to pause the video and take a screenshot. Pro tip number 2, Austin says LinkedIn's search algorithm gives more weight to endorsements from professionals who already have those same skills listed on their profile. If you made it this far, please comment if you'd like me to create a structured job search toolkit you can download for free. If there's enough interest, I'll put something together and link that down below as well. In the meantime though, check out my LinkedIn playlist on even more actionable tips like how to easily create a professional looking headshot and LinkedIn banner. And as usual, have a great one.